Our biggest spread of the week is the Kansas City Chiefs at home versus the Las Vegas Raiders. This is 12.5 in favor of the Chiefs. 45.5 is our total. This is, if you are not in Circa Survivor, this is your slam dunk Survivor play of the week. If you have the Chiefs left, if you're in Circa, you got to do a little soul searching if you want to burn a team that is as valuable as Chiefs are moving forward, considering the holiday week stuff. But if you're in just a traditional Survivor pool, it's a tricky week. You know, maybe not the time to get cute considering the pools have now been decimated, but no Brock Bowers again for this Raiders team. And Noops, you know, we've seen what they look like without Bowers out there, and it just no consistency whatsoever, right? And Geno's being Geno, throwing the ball to the other team and all that stuff. But I've talked about these double-digit spreads where just kind of not my style. You know, when it all comes down to it, this Chiefs team could be dominating the game and be up 20 points in the fourth quarter, and you're still not home. And I hate those type of games. I just hate it.
Yeah. It's a really kind of tough spot in terms of the spread. I think you've got a Kansas City Chiefs team that is really starting to find themselves again. Had the tough loss to the Jaguars, but I thought looked great against the Lions, a team that we both thought would be able to beat that Chiefs team. Kansas City was in control of that game for pretty much all four quarters there. The offense has been fantastic, even with Travis Kelce taking a step back as he gets toward the end of his career. Everyone else has really stepped up. Xavier Worthy's great, and things should be even better. Rashee Rice returns this week. Should be a huge piece. Rashee Rice, one of the best receivers in the NFL against zone defenses. The Raiders run as much zone defense as anybody. So the more and more I look at this, I think I'm just going to try to keep this nice and simple. How do I find a way to bet on the Chiefs to have a lot of success? I don't have to worry about whatever the Raiders do. And I think the best way to do that is you look at a Chiefs team total. I'm seeing 29.5. I know that's a really high number. I think it's still too low. I had this closer to 30.5. Honestly, I think you could make a case it should be even the super rare 31.5 for a team total. I just see no way that the Raiders are going to slow this Chiefs team down. Now, Kansas City, you know, devil's advocate, they like to run the clock a little bit in the second half when they have a lead. That should be the case in this game. So, you know, maybe they get 24, 25 points in the first half, but then slow things down a little bit. I love this spot for the Chiefs. I am going to be using them Survivor, but like you said, if you are in a Survivor pool, it requires you to pick a Thanksgiving game. You cannot use the Chiefs this week. You can't do it. The Chiefs are the only real choice in that 3-game Thanksgiving slate. The other 2 games are very close. So if you're not in one of those pools, feel free to use Kansas City in Survivor this week. If you have to pick a team on Thanksgiving, tuck them away. And we'll talk about some other options as we go forward.
Yeah, this was, you know, again, file this under the nobody cares thing, but this is more of a, hey, just a heads up moving forward. So I had a feeling the books were going to underprice Rashee Rice whenever they came out with their prop number. I thought mid 50s. They opened Wednesday night Noops at 48.5. I destroyed 48.5 as many times as I could put it into the account before they told me to go, you know, fly a kite. It is up to 65.5 now at DraftKings with Rashee. They priced it like a dude that was coming off of a major injury. And while he is coming off a major injury, that was well over a year ago. He was suspended. This dude has had nothing better to do than run wind sprints and go run routes with, like, you know, high school quarterbacks and college quarterbacks and things and stuff like that. Like, I expect a fairly full complement of snaps for Rashee Rice. I think the Chiefs understand the position that they're in right now, that, hey, yes, they're trending in the right direction, but they're also still 3-3, right? I mean, like, they still need to go out and make sure they figure things out for this stretch run and all that. Like, I mean, 65.5 now, I wouldn't play, but I think this is just something moving forward with when we know a dude is coming off of injury or coming off a suspension or whatever it might be. And it's nothing that we're truly worried about. Like, I was not worried about Rashee Rice's playing time because, again, it was a suspension. It was where, so for me, it's not like a wide receiver with a hamstring injury or something, you know, like those things that I'd be like, maybe pump the brakes. But if it was like a wide receiver with a hand injury or something, and it's like, oh, okay, he sits out a week to make sure his thumb's okay and he's back in there. Sometimes they go a little too low on the openers, and that's just what happened here with this one. I think the number's about fair now, but they did not price Patrick Mahomes wide receiver 1 as a wide receiver 1, and so that's just something we can look at moving forward in the forward weeks.
Yeah, it's a great bet by you. Now, the question I have is, are you thinking about middling at all? I mean, you're looking at a spot where I think if I got the numbers right, you're looking at like an 18-yard middle there. Do you think you'll try to buy back at all on your big position?
The only problem is, like, the only thing that I'm scared about is what if Andy Reid and Mahomes are just kind of like, okay, let's like really get him worked back into the offense, and they just pepper him with targets. That's the thing that's in the back of my head, right? That is like
Right.
this scary part with me, but it's very hard to turn down an 18-yard middle. I can say that. It is certainly hard, but we'll see what happens. Maybe this thing keeps climbing. If it gets just egregious, then I'll probably have no choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably have no choice there with that.